So this is going to be an interesting slate because one, we don't know a lot yet. There's a lot of injury situations that will probably change some things later on. But the guy who seems like the value play, and he's a power forward and a center, is Jaren Jackson Jr. The Grizzlies don't have Jonas Valanciunas around anymore. They have Steven Adams at center, who doesn't do as much offensively, probably doesn't play as many minutes as Valanciunas was playing, but it's more about the usage. So there's just going to be more scoring to go around. And then Dylan Brooks is also out for this game. So as far as value plays, I think Jackson is one of the best for this slate.
All right, really quick, Matt, before we go to Kenny, now that NBA is back, explain to the people really quick, kind of like what you were saying, there's a lot of injury news that's going to come out. Like, this is something where you need to really stay on top of your lineups until like a minute before these games lock, right?
Oh, yes, that is certainly true. And then even after the games lock. So up to each game, we may see information change. For example, Jaylen Brown, we don't know if he's going to play tonight. There's a COVID situation going on with him. So if he doesn't play, obviously you don't want to play Jaylen Brown if he's not playing. But if he doesn't, NBA is a little bit different than some other sports where there are massive opportunity increases for players on the same team. So like if Peyton Pritchard starts because Jaylen Brown is out, then that's way more minutes for him. And it's worth knowing that someone like that enters the starting lineup. But NBA news isn't like baseball where the starting lineups all kind of come out at the same time. NBA news is just whenever. So whenever the teams decide to tell us that there's a certain player in or out, that's going to have a big impact. So, yeah, honestly, NBA is a little bit exhausting, but it's a lot of fun.
Yes, got to stay on top of that stuff.
Perfect time to remind everyone, too, if you follow DK Live on Twitter, it is one of my favorite follows. Seriously, the personality coming through that account on Twitter is epic, but also up-to-date updates with injury news around the association. Really, every league.
All right, let's now see if Kenny is here to give his play at center.
Kenny?
Yeah, well, look, this is true that you have to look at the injuries when you're looking at this slate. I think Matt hit the nail on the head. And while the Raptors could just go with Chris Boucher, if they don't, I think that Precious Achiuwa is in a really, really good spot here, guys. $3,100, and whoever plays against the Washington Wizards, I think it's going to be in for a big night. When you look at their interior defense from a year ago, they got absolutely shredded. And last postseason, especially, against the Sixers, I know everyone sort of gets demolished by Joel Embiid, right? But their rebounding was really suspect. And Daniel Gafford was like the best center for them, giving them pretty good minutes. But, look at power forward here for the Raptors. If Achiuwa does play big minutes, and he could play 23, 25 minutes if there's no Boucher, he would get Kyle Kuzma's defense. And I think that's a pretty good matchup here for any sort of big man. So I think that this is a pretty good spot, as good a spot as any, to play Precious Achiuwa if on his new team, if there is an injury there, is there an opening for playing time for him.